Hey everybody, it's Ron, and this is going to be my Joker review. I know I'm a little late on this, so I'm sorry about that, but you know how it is, real life gets in the way. Okay, so I saw this movie on Sunday, and I've had enough time to digest it. I probably would have liked to have seen it twice before I made up my mind on certain things, but I guess I can always do a second video for that. Anyway, I remembered this being announced a couple years ago, or at least a rumor that they were going to do a standalone Joker movie, and it wouldn't be in the DCEU canon, and I initially thought that that was a dumb idea. As a comic book fan, it's kind of sacrilege to do an origin story about the Joker, because one of the best parts about the Joker is that he's an unknown entity of evil, and he's Batman's greatest villain because of that. So yeah, I was really into it. I wasn't really into it, and the reason I wasn't into it is because I was looking at it through my comic book fan lens instead of a film and cinema point of view. So I think it was last October they released this little video revealing Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur, and then it slowly zooms in and this Guess Who song is playing called Laughing. And as that's playing, I was like, damn, I actually like the vibe of this already. And then I was torn on his actual look as the Joker when they revealed it at the end of that small clip. But that grew on me too. So I went from not caring to being intrigued, and then the first trailer came out, and I really liked that too. I really think that first trailer is one of the best trailers of all time. I've rewatched it so many times, and it's almost like a little short film. It's so fantastic. So I went from not liking the idea of this movie to it being the only film I've been excited about in forever, and it's great to feel that way. Between this movie and the new Breaking Bad movie, El Camino, coming out, I'm actually excited about things again, and I hope this is a turning point for entertainment. So yeah, like I touched on earlier, I know an origin for the Joker is a big no-no for diehard fans, but the great thing about this movie is it's like the DC Black Label books. It's basically an Elseworlds tale of a mentally ill man, Arthur in this case, transforming into the Joker, and I'm okay with that. If this was how it went down in a cinematic universe or in the main continuity in the comics, I wouldn't like it, but this is a standalone interpretation, and really it's just slightly inspired by the comics. So if you go into this movie with that mindset, I think you'll enjoy it like I did. And I did really like this movie. The fact that it has ties to comic books at all makes all the MCU and DCEU movies look silly because it actually takes itself seriously. It's basically a Scorsese-style film hiding in a comic book movie, and I really like that idea. I'm no film expert by any means, but there are so many iconic shots in this movie that stand out and make me want to rewatch it over and over. I love the shot in the trailer where the curtains are opening up as the Joker's dancing at that late show that he gets invited to. It's just fantastic, and you don't get compelling images like that in something like Endgame, which is 90% CG, and everybody is just being goofy the whole time. I can't tell you how much this movie is a breath of fresh air. As the credits were rolling, I thought to myself, I can't wait to grab the Blu-ray to listen to the director's commentary and rewatch it. And I honestly can't remember the last time I thought to do that because everything has been so disposable lately. Okay, so I'll get into some spoilers now. This is your warning, even though I'm sure everybody has probably seen it at this point. This movie was even darker than I thought it was going to be, and I thought it was really clever how they handled the laugh by giving Arthur a condition where he basically laughs uncontrollably at random moments in the film. And it's so disturbing when the camera holds on him laughing for like a minute before he talks to his psychiatrist. I knew I was in for a very different comic book film, and it is. It's tense, and the moments leading up to some of the violent scenes are really, really tense. I had a mini anxiety attack when some of his coworkers visit him in his apartment, and also at the end when he rants on Murray's late night show because you know he's going to end up killing him. Joaquin gives a great performance. It was already evident in both trailers, but the whole performance is great all the way through. This is also Todd Phillips' best film, definitely. And I hope he continues doing stuff like this, even outside of the comic book genre, because I think he really hit his stride with this. It's a creative peak for him, and I also love the moody score, the cinematography, the grittiness of the city. I loved it all. This is definitely a lean character study that doesn't have a lot of action, but doesn't need to have a lot of action because the subject material is very interesting. Arthur's descent into complete madness is really well thought out, and it's a slow process, which makes the last act satisfying in a weird way, because this is not a feel-good film at all. It's dark, it's cruel, and at times gruesome. It's also unapologetic and doesn't spoon-feed the viewer. The only moment it sorta does this is when Arthur's love interest, Sophie, turns out to be a delusion. Well, her character is real, but not their relationship. And when we find that out, I thought it was already pretty clear by how she reacts to him being in the apartment. But then they have to show all these moments where she wasn't actually with him in different scenes, and I don't think they needed to do that, but oh well. The Easter eggs and nods to the Batman mythos were pretty cool, and you get to see a young Bruce Wayne and also Alfred. Thomas Wayne is seen as sort of a villain in this, but really, when you take a step back and look at it, he doesn't really do anything wrong or bad. He's just a symbol of what the lower-class citizens of Gotham want to rebel against. The death of Thomas and Martha Wayne in the alley also didn't have to be shown, because we've seen it 1,000 times, but it was cool to see it in the context of the riots that Joker inspired after he kills Robert De Niro's character. There's a lot of theories going around that Arthur just imagined all this from his cell at the mental hospital, but I'm not sure. And that's the great thing about this film. It's up for interpretation. People can have discussions about what they think happened. I think most of it did happen and some of it didn't, because we see Arthur daydreaming and fantasizing in the film. So I think when he's sitting down with his mother and watching Murray's show, that's the real world, and obviously he imagines his first appearance and also goes on dates with Sophie. So I think it's a bit half and half. It reminds me of The Killing Joke, where you're presented with a backstory for the Joker, and some of it might be real, but Joker adds a few scenarios that are fake to keep you guessing because, like he says, he prefers his past to be multiple choice. I think this movie honors that idea, and it leaves it up to the viewer, which makes it a lot more intriguing and adds a rewatchability that most movies don't have today. So as you can tell, I really enjoyed it. And I thought it was top-notch filmmaking from a director that I never really cared about before. But now he definitely has my attention, and I'm really happy he stepped up to make a movie like this, especially in 2019, because it reignited my fandom of film and entertainment going forward. Aside from a couple little nitpicks, I thought it was great, and I think as of now I'd give it a 9 out of 10. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll be back with an El Camino review, hopefully, I don't know if I'll do it Friday night, but probably Saturday, and I'm really excited for that. So be sure to like and subscribe if you're digging the content, and as always, thanks for listening.